All right, we're here with the head coach of the Whitehouse Wildcats, Coach Kyle Westerberg. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Just finished up we had a scrimmage last night against Carthage, so getting ready to meet with the kids and kind of go over all the evaluations from last night.
Well, give us a sneak peek. How did the scrimmage go with Carthage last night?
It went well. Definitely Carthage is a really good football team. But it was a good scrimmage, and I feel like our kids handled it well, and it was a good test to see where we're at right now.
Well, before we start talking about this upcoming year, I want to go back to last year real quick. A 7-4 season, started out 7-1, and then kind of hit a rough patch towards the end of the year. But overall, just talk to me a little bit about last year and your thoughts on last season.
You know, it was a good season. Obviously we didn't accomplish the goals we wanted to accomplish, but definitely proud of the kids. They were kind of the first group to get this thing turned around after my first year. A lot of those guys were. So, uh, we had a little injury bug there towards the probably middle of the season. But the kids kept fighting. I just think it kind of came down towards the end. We had the two big dogs at the end. We had Texas High, a very talented football team, and knew we had to try to win one or two of them. And it's been a dogfight with Marshall the last 2 years, for the whether it was the one spot or the second spot. So, it just kind of came down to making some plays at the end, and we didn't make the plays that we needed to. So, but anytime you make the playoffs, it's always a good feeling. And so definitely it was a solid year.
And I just noticed this that Marshall's been the last game, the last two seasons, and I'm looking at the schedule and they're the final game again. And
Yeah.
I know the district scheduling is random, right? So that
It is random. You pick numbers, and for the last 3 years, it'll be the Marshall game.
okay, well, there you go. So something to look forward to as fans anyway at the end of the season. But
Right,
speak,
right.
speaking of that district, as you were mentioning, Texas High was a tough one last year. Marshall's very good in that district as well. You got a couple of teams that are come up and coming. You lost Pine Tree out of the district, but you bring in Jacksonville. So what are your thoughts on the district this upcoming season?
A lot of familiar faces, and even with Jacksonville, we played them in non-district the last 2 years, and so we know those. We know those guys just down the road. So again, a lot of familiar faces, a lot of the same coaches. I know Coach Alvarez retired, but Coach Hammett, he was on staff with Coach Alvarez. So it's a tough district, and I saying that. It's going to be a battle every week. So we got to bring our A game. There aren't any slouches in our district.
No, that's for sure. But then speaking of the district, well, your non-district's not very easy either. You got two
Right.
top teams in there with Kilgore and Chapel Hill. So talk to me a little about your expectations for this year and what you want to see this season out of the Wildcats.
We've got a lot of new faces. We're going to be young in some spots, and then we'll have some, returners in some spots. So obviously, we saw that last night in our scrimmage. A lot of kids that are, new to varsity football. So, um, it's the older kids leading the younger kids, and then the younger kids, knowing that it's not JV football or freshman football, and it's Friday night football, and so we just got to bring them along. But the scheduling wise, it's hard to find games out here in East Texas. You're trying to play 5A, teams that are around your classification, and so it's either traveling to Dallas or, there's a lot of good football teams out here in East Texas, and so the Chapel Hill game has kind of been going on for a while prior to me getting here, and it kind of went away. And talking to Coach Reardon, he kind of wanted to get it back together. So uh, just just in time to get it back together after they played for the state championship last year, and they've got the running back and the quarterback. So, but I think it's a good test. You want to find out where you're at early before you get into a tough district, and so it's just building that confidence leading up to district.
Yeah, I'm sure if you knew that what Chapel Hill had, you wouldn't have agreed to that preview. Not, but
I've seen him, and I've known Coach Reardon in some prior coaching stops, and so when I came in here, he he kind of helped me through some of this stuff. And anyways, he definitely, I know what they have, but it's close. You don't have to travel very far. Both communities are close, and so and even with Kilgore, Kilgore is another great football team in that 4A district, and so uh, but they're close football games, so you don't have to travel, get on a bus, travel 2 hours, things like that. So in order to find some games, especially out here, you got to play some guys.
Well, and to your point though, yeah, that's quality opponents before you get into a district. It's not like you're playing cupcakes before you get into the district play.
For sure, and our kids are excited, and they know a lot of the kids, and so I tell them every day, it's just one step at a time, one game at a time, and let's just go see what happens while you play, and being able to play some top end teams, obviously gives you some recognition, but like the biggest test is just to see where we're at. And prepare us for district and our goals prior, after that.
All right, coach, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us this morning. Best of luck to the Wildcats this year, and we will talk to you down the road.
All right, appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you.